Good morning, everybody. I can't believe it. It's almost 11. Yeah, almost 11 this morning. I don't usually get here that early, but here I am, and I have my cup of coffee again. And this time, I want to show you. Well, it might be backwards, but Potsdam, Germany. And I'm reminded of many years ago when I had this desire to take an entire worship team to Germany, and we went to Potsdam, and we would go to the streets and we'd set up, thanks to our youth pastor, thanks to a lot of people, we would set up in the streets and we would do worship. And then we found this little place that it was like a nightclub for kids, but they let us come in before it started, and so we would worship and we would just do all kinds of things just to get that place, just to release the Spirit and the presence of God. So Potsdam, I have some great memories there. Also preached. They didn't have many women there, so that was a little struggle for a while, but wow, God just moved powerfully. So that's Potsdam, Germany, if you've never been there. So anyway, this morning, too, I want to introduce you to a book. It's called The Tale of Three Kings, and it's a study in brokenness, and we've been studying, just talking about betrayal and forgiveness, and this is awesome. And it's actually my second or maybe third time through it. So I just want to encourage you to go to Amazon and pick it up, and they may have it on Kindle. I'm not sure right now, but that is a real must, let me tell you. Also, I wanted to encourage you too. You can get on my website, and I have this pamphlet called What is Worship Anyway? And if you have people in your life who really don't understand what worship is all about, you want to explain it to them, this is the best way. And it's simple, and I've had just so many people really love this little handy pamphlet. And also, I wanted to reintroduce you to this is an album we did years ago in the beginning. I did it with Amy Wagner. She was traveling with me, and there's some powerful prophetic songs on here that still today, I think we were before our time. So if you get a chance, you can purchase that on my website. And then this is the most recent worship CD I've done called Radiant Glory, and it's live, and it's very raw, but oh my gosh, the presence on it is so great that I was the worship pastor at Radiant Church for a few years, and Connie spoke to me and she said, you have to put this one on an album. You have to do it because this is the one. So I'm going to encourage you, if you want some extra stuff, you can go to my website at currentfireministries.com, and I've got it's written in there too. So anyway, oh wow, I want to talk today about the hidden treasures of a mom, but I want to kind of say it's the hidden treasures of a woman. And because as moms, we are also spiritual moms. And if you're a guy listening to this, it's really good. I actually shared this at the Hub Church yesterday, and it was just a powerful moment for me to release this as I'm in a new season and a new generation. And if, like I said, if you're a man and you're listening, it's wonderful to be able to recognize what women carry, because I'm reminded that it takes a man and it takes a woman to bear fruit, to bring forth children. We absolutely need each other. And I don't want to be in a women's movement that says we don't need men or vice versa. We have to come together, and together we can change a world. And so this morning, as we talk about treasure, the word treasure in the Greek really means like treasure store. And it's like a concentration of all these treasures that originated in history that are considered lost and forgotten and rediscovered. It's a prized possession. And that's kind of what we're going to do today, is just we're going to rediscover some of the lost treasures inside of a woman, a mom, a mother, doesn't matter. She is a prized possession, and some of her greatest qualities have been forgotten, and they need to be rediscovered. Maybe they've been forgotten in this women's movement that's not of God, but is worldly, and it's not based on godly principles. There is a women's movement right now, but it's a God-woman's movement. And we're to come right upside the men. The men are to be right there, and together, again, I say we're going to change the world together. So a little background, Genesis 2:21 through 23, it's where the Lord caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam. And then while he slept, he took one of the ribs and part of his side and closed up the flesh. And the rib and part of his side, which the Lord had taken from the man, he built up and made into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And Adam said, this is amplified, I love this, this creature is now bone of my bones, flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman because she was taken out of a man. But I believe that man looked at Eve and said, whoa, man, that's a woman. He was pretty excited. But woman means a man with a womb. And so Adam was not complete until Eve came, and she was the completeness. And the bone of my bones is an idiom in Hebrew for the exact counterpart. It means perfect partner and completer of me from me. So that's pretty awesome. So treasure number one is that she is woman. Don't forget that. She is mom. She is a delight. She is woman. All right. I was thinking about, the years I was teaching school, and oh my gosh, some of the funniest things happened to me because I have three children, but they were all young, and I'm teaching school, and I have to be there early in the morning I taught in Christian school, so it was like devotions in the morning. So it was like 7:15, 7:30. So the only way I had any time alone is I would have to get up about 5:30 in the morning and just sit. I called it kind of my sit time, my think time, my God time, where I would just try to get everything together before it was time to wake up the kids. Because once I woke them up, oh boy, it went in our house. Lunches to pack, etc., etc. But I was reminded, and my husband and I were laughing because in my backing out of the garage with everything going on and 3 kids in the back seat, I took off 2 mirrors on the garage. I took a door off one day. I just literally backed out and the door was open. I hit the basketball hoop. One day, instead of taking my lunch, I took a can of oil. Because when I got to the lunchroom that afternoon, if you've ever been a teacher or know, your lunch is like a pacifier. So lunchtime is when the children go off, the kids go off, they have their lunch, and you have your time alone before your next class. And so I always called it my little pacifier because my lunch was my time just to eat and just to have a moment. And so I really look forward to that. And so I opened up the refrigerator that day, and I opened up my brown bag, and I'd set my lunch down probably in the garage as I got the kids in and all my stuff in. But instead of grabbing my lunch, I grabbed a can of oil in a brown paper bag. So when I opened the bag, there's a can of oil for my lunch. Oh my gosh, what a day. So we all have some really funny experiences, but I wouldn't trade one of them as a mom and a woman. And I've been watching the geese behind our home, and I put this up on Facebook the other day. A goose planted itself on top of my roof. Well, they have been the noisiest little critters lately. They are just, they must have a nest by the pond, because anybody who comes near their territory, oh my gosh, they screech and they honk. You can hear them all over the house. And so I saw a video clip recently where the geese literally attacked a golfer because he got near their nest. And I don't know if you saw it on TV, but it was really funny because I've practically seen that out here. And so anyway, on Thursday, one of those little guys got up on my roof. I have nests in the front, and so when I open the door, these little robins, they just scoot out of their nest by my house, and they are mad at me because they're nesting. And then down below in the bottom deck, I have this little stick because all of a sudden these these swallows, they have all these muddy stuff that they bring in, and they try to build a nest. And so when it just starts to get muddy, I know they're coming. So then I scrape off the mud. And so we've been in a battle with these swallows for 2 years. And so far I have won, and they built their nest someplace else. Yay. So I just feel like prophetically in so many ways that this is what's happening here in the world right now. You know, grandmothers, my season of being a grandmother, God is raising up young moms. Grandmothers don't give birth to babies. We do in the spiritual, but not in the natural. And this is a season of new moms and babies coming forth. And prophetically, it's a birthing season for a new generation. And I'm really excited to see what God's going to be doing in this next season. And the best way to describe this woman, even as she's getting ready, you know, she's pregnant, she carries that child in her womb, she suffers through 9 months. Some people suffer more than others. She labors to bring forth, but she knows how to push. She knows how to push that baby out. And I remember when my first child, I was 21. I was really a young mother, and I was in that place in the birthing process now, in the labor, where my little Nikki was ready to come. And I remember laying there thinking, I have gotten out of most pain in my life somehow, but there has to be a way to get out of this. And I came to the realization that the only way to get out of labor pain is to push harder, because you have to push that baby out. It's not going away. So we learn how to push. I've actually been watching Midwives on Netflix. I love that show. I mean, and with every woman who's having a baby and pushing, I'm sitting there and I'm pushing with her, and I'm watching, and I come to the conclusion that possibly I could help give birth now. I've watched so many of those shows on that series. It's awesome. I love it. But the mother, she won't give up until that baby's born. And you've got to watch out, because she has strength she never, ever knew even existed until she gives birth. And wow, prophetically, moms change the course of history with the birth of one child. She gets pregnant with a vision and a dream for her children. She sees something in that child that nobody else will ever see until that dream and that vision begins to come into reality. She carries the dream in her belly, sometimes for a lifetime. She is not a quitter. She has to see it through. She will fight in prayer. She will push, and she will push to see the birth of a dream. She knows how to travail, and that means she knows how to cry out until she sees the answer. You ought to hear her during delivery when she's screaming to get that baby out. Oh my. She knows how to keep going when she's sick. She can't quit. She's a fighter. That is a mother. God is not confused about how he made a woman. He made her tenacious. Amen? That's what she is. Treasure number 2. She is brave. I'm going to take a sip of coffee. Will you do that with me for a moment? I'm a coffee freak. Oh, I love coffee. All right. Anyway, Psalm 31:25. She is brave. It says, strength and dignity are her clothing, and her position is strong and secure. She wears strength and dignity. It's on her. She puts it on like clothing. You touch one of hers and you had better watch out. She packs a gun, that mother. Don't touch mine. In fact, recently I took a gun class to pack a gun. It's like, you touch one of my kids, you come in my home, I'm a packer. I'm a woman. The reality is, if somebody broke in, oh my gosh, I don't even know if I could shoot it. Maybe I'd throw it at them and start to pray. I don't know, but I've watched every Joan of Arc movie there is, every version. There's a fight in me. There's a fight in a woman. Don't touch mine. Brave means ready to face danger. It means lion-hearted. She's bold. She's fearless. Proverbs 28:1, the righteous are as bold as a lion. She's unflinching. She's stout-hearted. She's gutsy. She's militant. And she's a valiant soldier. Brave means to confront, defy, to face, to risk, to suffer, and to withstand. And that is your mom. That is you as a woman. You may be quiet in your demeanor, but you touch my family. You touch my spiritual children. You touch my home, and something else happens. She's bold, she's brassy, and she's a daredevil, and she will fight. She is mom. She is powerful, and she's fully awake to her family. She hears the cry of her children when they are doing wrong. One time, one of my children were doing wrong. They were out of high school, and I get this phone call, and I can hear my child in the background. This child didn't even know that the phone rang me, and I can hear them. And so when they come home, of course, mother's there. Hello, I heard you. None of that, okay? We hear. God opens doors for moms to hear things that only children sometimes go, how did you know that? How did you know that? So there's nothing more dangerous than being in the presence of a woman who's a lioness. And Lisa Bevere, thank you for this, because this is so good. I've used this so many times. And I'm reminded of a safari we went on years ago. And we actually went on this safari with a missionary. So it was a missionary, my husband, and I'm in the back of this little Jeep. I'm mortified. I am so scared. There are giraffe all over and all these African animals. And the missionary and my husband, they are so excited. They can't wait to see the next big thing. And I'm sitting in the back shaking and praying, oh God, please, please, I don't want to see any big animals, please. And then we stop, and there's this weeds, the brown grass. It was so tall. And all of a sudden the missionary says, do you smell that smell? And it smelled like a skunk. And he said, that's a lion right there. He's asleep, or she's asleep. I thought I was going to die. I start to pray in the back, God, please, 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 I don't want to see another animal. Can we get this over really fast? Oh my gosh. But she is brave. And if that lioness had awakened, let me tell you, we'd have heard her roar. Treasure number 3, she is powerful. In order for a lioness to roar, and again, thank you, Lisa, to roar, she must first change her posture, and she has to drop her head. And a mom, let me tell you, she will change position. She will drop her head in a moment when her family's in danger. She drops her head in prayer, and she positions herself next to Jesus. You know, that's something I want to encourage you with right now, is that if there are things going on in your family, your children, your extended family, your spiritual family, whoever you're mentoring, whatever's going on, you know what? Change positions. Change it from worry and anxiousness to a position of dropping your head and begin to pray and release them to the Lord. Release them to the Lord and position yourself right on the chest of Jesus and go, Jesus, this is your child. This is your family member. This is your spiritual daughter or son, whatever. But I give this person to you, and I just lean into you, Jesus. You know, there's such a call right now to come back into that secret place. And I was reading something this morning. I've always been a secret place person. I love that place of aloneness with Jesus, where I just sit with my journal and I just wait on him, and I just love to be in his presence. But I sense there's even a call to a deeper secret place right now, a place where we are lingering in his presence. We're waiting on him, that he has something to say and something to speak to us in this season, for this nation, for our families. And I want to call you to that place. I want to call you to bring that pain, or bring these people that you are praying for right now. And I want you to just lay them before Jesus. I just feel God's presence really heavy right now on this. I sense you've been carrying somebody and you've been about to give up. And I believe that the Lord is saying to you, do not give up, but don't take it to yourself. don't you carry the burden, because your burden is light. Jesus is meant to carry this burden. And I fall in that trap a lot myself. And I just want to say, we have got to give our burdens to Jesus. He is meant to carry them on his shoulders. And so whatever you are believing for right now, whatever member of your family, like I said, whatever, you give that burden and lean into him until you are so leaned into him, you can almost feel his heartbeat and you can smell his breath, and you know that God loves that person more than you do. And so that person, if they're on your heart, you can be sure they're on his heart, because Father gave birth to those children or those people, whatever. He is the creator. So don't forget that. You know, a lioness will change her position to roar, and she expands her chest in order to fill her lungs with air. She fills her lungs, we do, with God's presence, with his word and with his breath, and we inhale him so we can exhale his fullness. And so when she begins to roar, her roar of declaration, her roar of prayer. I mean, I have this great declaration book. Actually, Patricia King puts it out. Get on her website. It is so wonderful. I've used it for years. And I just make declarations over my family, over my ministry, over my husband. I declare, and this really helps me to do that. I stand up and I make this declaration. But when a lioness does, when she releases that fullness of her breath and expands her chest, they say she can be heard 5 miles away on the still of a night, and she shakes and can shake the heart of creatures and men. I'm telling you, you ought to hear me sometimes when I roared for my family. Oh my goodness. There's a roar in this house. I remember one time going out into a field and standing in a field and roaring for my family, roaring for those spiritual children and those that I love to come into the fold, to come into Jesus and to be protected by him. Number 4, I know I gotta go quickly, I'm sorry. She is wise. Number 4, Proverbs 31:26. She opens her mouth in skillful and godly wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. You know, I think of Deborah and how Deborah was so wise. She was a judge, the first woman judge and in Israel, and she judged with such wisdom and such bravery that the men came to her. And one man, Barak, he had to raise up 10,000 men. She gave the call, 10,000 men to go into battle. But he said, I won't go unless you go with me. This woman, you are woman, you are mom. There's something in you that God created. God knows what he did. He doesn't make a mistake. She has a word in season. She's been with Jesus. She's walked through some dark times, and she is able to see the light. She's learned through the years to hear his voice, and she has learned through experience and through trials. Number 5, treasure number 5. She is love, she's comfort, she's compassion. Isaiah 49:15. Can a woman forget her nursing child, that she would not have compassion on the son of her womb? Do you know that God demonstrates his heart and his compassion for his children through the mother? In Isaiah 66 verse 13 it says, as one whom his mother comforts, so I will comfort you. You're a mom, you're a woman. Even if you're comforting somebody else's child, it doesn't matter, your spiritual children. Moms are up at 2 in the morning rocking a baby. They're kissing a boo-boo. They're comforting fear that takes over. They're compassionate when friends hurt. And they're the ones that take that tween through her first heartbreak. Oh my goodness. He's so wonderful. And he has such a heart. And he expresses it through women too. That's the side of God that sometimes we don't remember. And we need to remember that he is compassionate and loving and full of kindness. And a woman is good at expressing that too. There are men too that do that. So we don't want to forget, we need both. Proverbs 31:12. She comforts, she encourages, she does him only good as long as there is life with her. I remember a time when I was doing a conference, and they had gotten me this room with all this glass, and I got up early that morning. I was sitting in a rocking chair, and I said, Jesus, what were you thinking about last night? And it was as if I heard him say to me in a still small voice, just in my heart, I heard him say, I was thinking about you all night. It was that comfort of Jesus that came. He said, I thought about you all night. And then I had this picture of moms. You know, our kids can be reckless all day. You just want to go, oh my gosh, I can't take another day. I need a break. I need to go shopping. I need to go have coffee. I need to do something. There's too much noise. And you know what? When those kids go to bed and they're sleeping, you know what this is like. If you have children, you understand. You walk in that room and they're sound asleep, sometimes with their thumb in their mouth, their pacifier, or they're teenagers, and they're laying in the bed and they've balked at you all day long, but now they're sleeping, and you see the fruit of your womb, and you just begin to caress their hair, and you just want to kiss them. That was the picture I got of Jesus that night. That when we're sleeping and we're resting, he looks down and he's just comforting us. I just see him just caressing us and loving on us because we're his children. He's compassionate and he's loving. And don't forget that right now. If you forgot how great his love is and you've been entangled, I just sense too that somebody's been entangled in just a web of anxious thoughts that just bring such confusion they don't quit. Listen, that is the enemy. That is not God. Anytime a thought comes to you, remember we've talked about this in the past, and it brings anxiousness, as a woman, you take that. You take that thought and you cast your cares on Jesus. And you remember that he is the comforter. Any anxious thought we have is never, ever of God. Okay, I got off just a little bit, but I want to make sure I cover that with you because I sense that your mind is being taken over with all these thoughts. And for just a moment, you become the child and let Jesus comfort you as a father, and let that comfort and compassion of a mother just put his arms around you and take care of that place for you, okay? All right. That was treasure number 5. And treasure number 6, Mom's prayers, her powerful prayers that are answered. 1 Samuel 1:10, Hannah prayed a powerful prayer. Hannah prayed and prayed and prayed, and I can't go into the whole entire story right now. It's amazing. Go to 1 Samuel 1, read her story and how God gave her a child, and she gave the child back to God. And the child went to the temple and lived with the priest, and he understood the presence of God, and he became one of the greatest prophets of the nation of Israel. Moms, you have powerful prayers. Don't forget this. Don't forget that your prayer matters. Don't forget that the cry of your heart for your child, for your parents even, for your extended family, your brothers, your sisters, don't forget, if you're the light in the family, that light and that prayer matters, that God hears your prayer. And your prayer is powerful, whether you see the outcome or not. That's immaterial. God is always at work, even if we don't see. And I feel like I want to cry again this moment. I just feel somebody's heart. I just feel somebody really aching in this right now. And I just want you to understand that your prayers have not gone unknown. And he's listening right now. But you give him prayers of faith, believing and trusting that God is at work. You are woman. You are brave. You are powerful. You are compassionate. And he loves you. I want to close with a story. And I actually got this story on YouTube from a pastor who shared it. It was so powerful. I did go to YouTube to make sure it was truth. And it is documented. They have it documented in history. And it's an account from 1820. and there was a man, and I'm going to really pull it in for you, okay? I'm not going to read it all. I'm going to try to tell it to you. But there's a man named Peter Ridgely in 1820. Now remember, this has been documented. Whoops. And he had perhaps the strangest survival story ever told that is recorded in history. He was on his way to Australia. It'd been 10 years or more since he had been home. And he was looking for kind of a new life, looking for his destiny. And he got on this ship, and they were on the ocean, and all of a sudden the storms came up and the ship sank. And when the ship sank, everybody on the ship went down but Peter Ridgely. And a second boat came by, and that boat picked up Peter Ridgely. He got in the boat, they sailed for a while, another storm came, and that boat went down. Now remember, this is true. That second boat went down, everybody died, Peter Ridgely was alive. A third boat came, and that third boat picked Peter Ridgely up. And they drove again, they rode again on the ocean. Sorry for my grammar here. They were going again on the ocean. A storm came, and the third boat went down. Peter Ridgely, only survivor. A fourth boat came, and a fifth boat came and sunk, and finally a sixth boat came. Peter Ridgely is still the only one to survive. And when the sixth ship came, it was called the City of Leeds. And the crew pulled him up out of the water. They fed him. They gave him all that he needed to survive. And Peter told them the unbelievable story. And as they had been on this journey for a couple days and just about ready to land in Sydney, Australia, the captain of the ship comes to Peter and says, "Hey, we have this woman who came aboard about a week ago, and the whole ship has fallen in love with her," in so many words. She has just been such an inspiration to all of us, but she's dying. And under her breath, she keeps praying all the time, "I just want to see my son one more time." And the ship's captain said to him, "Sir, would you do us a favor? And would you go down to her and pretend to be her son? Because she knows all of us, and we want her to be able to die in peace." And so Peter said he would do that. So as they started on their journey and they were getting close, Peter went down. And this woman, she was laying there, and she was on the point of death. And under her breath, she is crying out, "God, I beg you, let me see my son one more time. Let me live and see my son, I beg you." She goes in and out of the coma, but every time she comes out of the coma, she prays this again. And the head of the crew said, "She loves everybody so much, she'll know. I need you to go down there." And so he went down there, and as he looks at this frail woman, he reaches down and he looks at her face, and he begins to weep, and he falls on her because he sees the face of the woman who was his mother, Sarah Ridgely, whom he had not seen for more than 10 years. 5 ships, 5 sinking ships could not take Peter down because there was one praying woman. The storm couldn't destroy him because we are never to understand the power of a praying mother. It will get you through a storm and a crisis. It will get your family through stormy weather. There is something about the power of a praying woman. And I'm going to close again with this. John Wesley's mom prayed 2 hours under her apron with 10 children. And her sons won millions to Christ, and the Methodist movement was born. Treasure number 7, the last one. And this is where I am today, and many of you who are new moms, listen to this. She becomes a grandmother. And guess what? She begins all over again with unconditional uncontainable love. And now the prayers she prayed for her children, she prays for her grandchildren. She prays for her grandchildren who are spiritual grandchildren, and the list goes on and on, but she's still a praying woman. Now, this, as I close today, I'm sorry, I probably got a little emotional every once in a while, but wow, this has just been so powerful in my heart. And I want to encourage you not to give up. Don't give up. Spend that time with him, if it's driving your car, wherever it is. But stay close and leaned in to Jesus Christ. He is your answer. And I want to say congratulations to every mother who's ever picked up a can of oil as her lunch, taken off doors on her car as she's busily trying to get where she's going with kids in the background. I want to say I commend you. I love you. You keep on going on because you are the power of this nation. God bless you now, and see you in a couple weeks, okay? All right. Love you. Bye-bye.